It's not that carbs are the overall enemy and sugar is bad. It is how your body's processing and utilizing that. And a big piece to get started with is getting an even intake of nutrients so your body can start to regulate it itself. I get so many questions on, should I take this for insulin resistance? Should I take that? Should I take that? I mean, you can take whatever, but if you are not starting with the right fuel and the right nutrition, which is the base, which is the foundation of all of it, it doesn't matter, right? It's like you're in your house and you have a picture, right? You have pictures on the wall and your pictures are crooked. All your pictures are crooked. And you're like, every day you wake up and you have to like straighten your pictures. And by the end of the day, they're crooked again. So you straighten them at the end of the day and then you wake up and they're crooked again. So you straighten them. Your whole house is crooked. The whole house is crooked. Hey there, welcome to the Female Health Solution podcast, where we discuss women's health, hormones, and everything else in between. Join me as we dive into the tools that you need to live your healthiest life. You need carbs. Your body needs carbs. Carbs are not the enemy. Did you catch that pronunciation there? Enemy. They're not the enemy. Carbs are good for you. Please do not be scared of carbs, right? I'm Dr. Beth Westy, women's health and hormone expert, host of the podcast, The Female Health Solution here. And when we talk about the Female Health Solution, what we were talking about with carbohydrates and other things are really, geared towards narrowly focused on the female body and what is most helpful for women, right? This goes along with diet culture and being told that we need to eat less and be super skinny and a flat tummy is the only way to have a tummy. Are you kidding me? We have internal organs there that grow twice the size throughout the month. Get out of here, right? Our system will handle stress differently. Our brain works and functions differently. And our hormones are present for a reason and respond to nutrients differently. This is why carbohydrates are I'm not yelling, but why carbohydrates are so important and necessary and why we need them. Do not eliminate carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are basic brain food, right? If you're not getting enough carbohydrate, it is really difficult for your brain to function like it needs to under stress. This is why when you're really stressed or tired or things, the first thing your body wants is carbs, sugars, whatever that is, because it needs it. That's what it needs to run off of. So if you've had a stressful day and you're really trying to restrict that, all you're doing is you're starving your brain the energy that it needs to function. And again, so many of these things, if you're thinking, well, I read this thing and there was this thing and there was this study and blah, 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 blah. Those are done on men. Those are done on men. Your brain is different. There's a lot of books that talk about the female brain, the XX brain, right? That it's not a bad thing that female bodies function differently, that we have different physiology. It's not bad. It's just different. So many of these things out there, all these studies are done on a male body. So stop trying to compare it and stop then feeling bad when your system responds differently or has a harder time with it, when you're like, oh, I shouldn't be stressed, or I'm super stressed and now I'm craving this and now I want to binge a bunch of chips and things like that. Yes, because your brain is trying to tell you it needs the carbohydrates because you are stressed out. Yes, normal. If you are not getting that, you are having a negative impact on your cortisol levels. Your body will not get the nutrients it needs in the stress state that it's in, have a continued negative impact on your cortisols and continue that stress response that it's having. It can also impact the sleep that you're going to get, negative recovery time, all these other things that just kind of rolls together. One of the hardest things for us to do as women is when we are stressed is to really stop, slow down, nourish our bodies, give our system the space, the time, the rest that it needs to turn around. That never happens, right? I am a busy working mom of 3 kids. I have 3 kids and a husband. So 3.5. No, 3.5 kids. It can be so difficult to say, okay, these things are happening, all this stuff, instead of going into problem-solving mode, correction mode, fixing everything for everybody else. But then to be like, okay, this was really tough. I am really worn out. I'm going to take a beat, right? I have learned to do that more now, but it is really, really difficult still. If I don't do that, I notice myself getting worn out faster. and it taking longer to recover. So fuel your body, get it the carbs it needs, all this stuff. If you're wondering right now, like, okay, well, what does that look like even? What does it look like to fuel my system in a positive way and work with my body and hormones so that I'm not stressing myself out further? I have got great news for you. We are doing a free 5-day focused on hormone balance and metabolism. Go where all the links are. You know where they are. Go where the links are. Click the link. Join us. It is free. It is free. Right? We are going to be doing prizes and giveaways and all this fun stuff. I'll be answering more questions there. This is another great way to get you involved and get you this information that you need. It is fantastic and super, super fun. It is, however, the only thing you just need to get started with. It's a foundational piece. It's a beginning. Let's talk more about carbs and hormones because we talked about carbs and stress, carbs and cortisol, right? This is just the tip of the iceberg with some of this stuff, but just so you know. The other thing to keep in mind is that if you are not getting enough carbs in, it can have a negative impact in how your body breaks down glucose and stores it as glycogen, and insulin is produced and maintained so you can become more insulin resistant instead of insulin sensitive, right? There are other factors that go into that, of course, too. There's a lot of other things that go into that, but just keep that in mind. It can have an impact on your digestive system. If you stop eating carbs, your gut will not release the enzymes that are naturally released that are necessary to help break down carbohydrate because it doesn't need to. Then you start eating carbs again and you're like, oh shoot, my gut really hurts. What the heck is wrong with me? Your gut health changed because you changed your nutrition, right? So therefore you have to retrain how your system does that and support your gut much, much better. Yeah. Other thing that I want to talk about is thyroid hormone. Not eating carbohydrates can have a negative impact on your thyroid hormone production. What main gland is in charge of your metabolism overall? That would be your thyroid, ladies and gentlemen. Thyroid. Yeah. Carbs are not the enemy. Carbs are not the worst thing ever. They are necessary. In fact, having enough carbohydrate actually helps you absorb the maximum amount of protein when you're eating a carb and protein together. And in fact, you want to eat protein, fat, carb, the trifecta of nutrients together to get maximum absorption and utilization of those nutrients. Yes. Complete nutrients. That's what we're all about here. And again, in the 5-day, we're going to be covering that and going through that. So make sure you join right meow. Right meow. Okay. Carbohydrates. If you have excessive carbohydrate intake, right? Too much, you're not supported, with enough protein and fats and things like that, not balanced, then it can potentially, right, cause a hormonal imbalance leading to excess estrogen, right? Testosterone also can be influenced by insulin levels. So if you're worried about insulin resistance, things like that, that's a big thing. Cortisol, again, can be impacted. And growth hormone, right, can also be impacted. So growth hormone, besides going through growth spurts as you're growing, right, growth hormone is present in the body, and that's actually most active between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. when you're supposed to be asleep. That's when your body does a lot of rest and repair, rejuvenation, all that stuff. It's supposed to turn over all those cells to prepare you for the next day to be a healthier you. Growth hormone happens at night. But if your insulin levels are super uneven during the day, right, you're not having good balanced blood sugars, it actually can negatively impact the growth hormone release at night. Dang it. Yeah. So again, it's not that carbs are the overall energy and sugar is the overall it's not that carbs are the overall enemy and sugar is bad. It is how your body's processing and utilizing that. And a big piece to get started with is getting an even intake of nutrients so your body can start to regulate it itself. I get so many questions on, should I take this for insulin resistance? Should I take that? Should I take that? I mean, you can take whatever, but if you are not starting with the right fuel and the right nutrition, which is the base, which is the foundation of all of it, it doesn't matter, right? It's like you're in your house and you have a picture, right? You have pictures on the wall and your pictures are crooked. All your pictures are crooked. And you're like, every day you wake up and you have to like straighten your pictures. And by the end of the day, they're crooked again. So you straighten them at the end of the day and then you wake up and they're crooked again. So you straighten them. Your whole house is crooked. The whole house is crooked. So let's start with fixing the foundation of the house. level it out, even it out, start with the baseline things, which is the nutrients you're getting in and everything else. Then we work our way up from there. So you're going to learn a ton more. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that carbs is related to estrogen and testosterone and growth hormone and insulin and thyroid and cortisol, of course. Right? All of those things. I didn't realize it was connected to all of that. Yeah, absolutely. This is the tip of the iceberg of the things that we cover. And again, the 5-day is just to give you guidance and an outline of where to get started. So you're not lost, you're not floundering, and you're not wondering, am I doing the right thing? Or I'm trying to do this, but I really feel like garbage and etc. If you're doing the right thing for your body, you're not going to feel like garbage. It's going to help you feel better. And that's what we start in the 5-day. So again, we do prizes, we do lots of things. It is free to join. You just got to sign up right here. Share it with anybody that you know you think would enjoy doing this challenge with you. So that's what I got for you today. Let me know if you need anything else. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Thank you for joining me on today's episode. If you would like more information, just head on over to drbethwesty.com for all the show notes and information from today's episode. And if you're looking for more community, more support, you can find and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and I would love to see you there.